I'm Libby, and this is what to do with your scoby that I sent you recently. So anyway, get right into it. First thing you want to do is get everything you need together. It's best to get everything in one place because you want your hands to like stay pretty clean. I just wash my hands. No antibacterial soap near your culture because it is bacteria and yeast, and you'll kill it with antibacterial soap. So anyway, just get going right away. What you need is your scoby and your starter liquid. I don't think you can kind of see in there. And then what you're going to need is some black tea. Per gallon is 8 tea bags, like regular size tea bags. I'm going to run a 2-gallon run because that's about how much I make a week. You're also going to need white sugar, a measuring cup, spoon to stir your stuff with, a couple of rubber bands. I like to use coffee filters on top because I feel like I can change them more often and I can be less regimented about like washing my cloths that go on top of this thing. But like a dish towel, something that's tightly woven enough that no fruit flies can get through there. And paper towels because you're going to get dirty somehow. Alright, so first thing I do is I unsheathe 16 tea bags and put them down in these 1-gallon jars. Oh, and by the way, this is a recipe to make 1 gallon of kombucha tea. If you would like, you're going to start making with a 1/2 gallon probably, because you'll get about a cup of starter tea, which will make a good safe 1/2 gallon that won't get any mold. There'll be enough starter tea in it to keep the acidity down. Or keep it up, rather, down on the pH scale. Oh, there's my water. Alright, so we got these tea bags down in here. And you're going to add like just enough water to cover them, really. You don't really need a whole lot of water in here because what we're going to do is make a super strong brew. Dissolve our sugar, and then we'll add cool, faucet temperature water. I live in a place where we get our well water from spring, so there's no chlorine or fluoride in the water. Otherwise, you just want to use spring water. Distilled water is not necessarily necessary. But anyway, and then we add some room temperature water on top of that, and that'll cool this down a lot faster because you don't want to put your SCOBY in here into a hot pot because once again, heat kills bacteria as well, and you don't want to kill your SCOBY. Anyway, get your little handy dandy scooper out. This is a 1-gallon recipe, so I'm going to use 1 cup of sugar. This is for a 1/2 gallon recipe. You would be using a 1/2 cup of sugar. And this is what your SCOBY is going to eat for the next week and a half. They are hungry little buggers. Ooh, perfect. Alright, so there you go. And get your spoon out. You want to make sure you use like a wooden spoon or a plastic spoon, not necessarily a metal spoon, because kombucha is a detoxer, and the less time it spends in contact with metal, the better, because it can leach metals out of your utensils, and then you would be ingesting those, and that would not be cool. It's a nice little stir. Alright, so our next step, we're going to go ahead and add some cool water. Hi, alright, so what I forgot to say when I went for water with the first one is that you also want to let these tea, water, and sugar concoctions steep for, 10-15 minutes just to really get a good brew on of the tea in there since you're only using this little bit of water. Alright, so now that we have both of our tea containers cooled down to right about room temperature, what you're going to do is you're going to add your SCOBYs and your liquid. So uncover your SCOBYs, your hair behind your head, and then I like to, when I renew batches, I like to use the older scoby, and I put the newer baby scoby that was made into a hotel. Or what you can do is you can just put the oldie and the newtie together, but more scoby means less room for kombucha tea. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and grab the old one and put the baby in my hotel. If you're just getting your scoby in the mail, of course you'll only have, the one scoby. That's the guy that goes in. Put these right on in here. You're going to want to also fetch out your tea bags and give them a good squeeze. Get all that tea goodness in there. This is also why it's really important to have good, clean hands. Make sure you got all of them too. Tea bag is a good breeding spot for some mold. Alright, so no tea bags. Scobies are in there. And then all you got to do is add your starter tea. Since I have 2 batches here, I split them. And this is a gallon, so it gets 2 cups of starter tea. If you were just getting your scobies, you'll have 1 cup of starter tea, which means that you have enough for a half gallon.
You hear me?
Alright, so now once all of your starter tea has been added to your brew,
Close.
all you have left to do is cap them off. A little bit of coffee filter lid. Alright.
Yeah.
Take your trusty rubber band, seal them off.
Can I show your man to drive you down to Junior? Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna run down Junior's real quick. Be right back.
You gonna run down to the store?
What do we need at the store? I don't really want to drive my truck with no
Okay.
lights.
Okay.
Can we make some chili?
Out of what?
Well, got stuff. Oh.
Alright, so now, once these guys are sealed up, all you're going to do is put it in a nice, warm, safe spot in your home. Leave them nice and covered and undisturbed for about a week. And then in a week, you can taste them. If all the sweetness is gone and it tastes pretty sour, then your tea's probably ready to go. And then you can 2F, or second ferment, which we'll talk about in another video. Alright, you're all done.
I'll be back. I'll figure out the protein for dinner.